Okay, yes, this is another Glyos recap. Obviously I don't have an intro for this one yet. I don't even have a little logo that can go right here. So we're just kind of doing the Ashen's thing where you can see my hands in plain view. Because otherwise it's just a black screen. And on this month's Glyos recap, we have some Kabuto Mushi, we have some Onell, and we have a very, very special look from something from Spy Monkey Creations. So we're going to start with the Kabuto Mushi, since they were the first to drop over the month. Marty came up with some really weird homages this time. I dig them, but strange. He really went out there and kind of obscure with the first one I'm going to show you, which is, boom. This is all clear with gold apps. This is based on a Henshin Cyborg toy, and thus it's called the Henshin Cyborg Mushi. And I really like how the gold looks floating on that translucent plastic. It's crystal clear PVC, and it looks nice. I'm not too big on all clear PVC, or just clear plastic in general, because it washes out a lot of detail. I really like it's so bright. The gold on this is so bright, it pops really nicely. So it's just kind of floating there in midair. So it's a neat effect. Now, maybe a little bit of color to the plastic itself, but I don't know. I like it for what it is. Much more colorful. The second one he put up, Ultra Mushi. And yeah, there's no guessing who this one's based on. Ultraman himself. Tons of paint in order to get this homage right. All the way over. You can see even the tips of the spikes have a little bit of gray or some silver paint to them to offset the ultra silver plastic. It's actually a really nice effect. And yeah, this goes right in with the Kamen Rider Mushi he released last drop. But no, the winner of his drop has to be the Galactic Emperor Mushi. Frieza's colors work surprisingly well on the Kabuto Mushi mold. Yeah, his spikiness lends itself more to Form 3 Frieza, but no one really pays attention to Form 3 Frieza because it's just a xenomorph. But he looks nice in these colors. It works. It looks nothing like, nothing like Frieza, of course, but, you know, works out. I really like how it looks. I really like the colors. Alright, we'll move those back there, and we'll move on to the Onell offerings. Now, Onell had quite an interesting month, and honestly, I was going to skip it this month, because the main color scheme I was only kind of into, and money's running pretty tight. But something dropped that forced my hand, and thus forced my wallet. So, we'll begin with the Armorvores, the Neo Granthans Returned, and it came out, one of them came out in this, like, the colors I can only describe as clay red and butterscotch, and I wasn't really feeling it. I think the last Glyos recap had a Crayboth in those colors, if you remember that. So instead, I just got the one, which is in this nice Arctic white and kind of military tan color. Looks really nice. I like really striking color schemes like this, especially for something as rough and tumble as the sorry about that, the Armorvore. Can you tell this is unscripted? So, yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Where did I put the head? Here, at least want you to be able to see. Yes, it is a Neo Granthan. It did come with the Dino head, with the beady red eye, and it's a very sharp look. So yeah, this one I quite like. And then came the main wave of colors, which I'll show you in the form of a Crayboth first. The only Crayboth I picked up this month because I wasn't really digging how the others looked. So there you go. It's kind of an off-white, kind of a bone white, and maroon, and it looks nice. It looks nice enough. You know, it's not too thrilling a color scheme on most molds, but nice enough to own a few examples of. So I did get that as an example, and my go-to, of course, is always the Sarvos mold. That's my favorite of the Travelers, so he's looking nice here. He's got some new paint apps around the hips, so I like this one too. Really dig this one. Now, again, like I said, I'm not too big on this colorway. It's nice, but it's just like, it's not as thrilling as I really wanted it to be. Until you put it on the right mold, and only one mold was going to get me to buy this wave. That mold appeared this time. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the Skeleden. This is badass. Now, for those who follow Glyos 101, this was based on the Skeleton Warrior Kickstarter that came out, but its origins go farther back than that. Matt over at Onell actually was designing kind of space armor that would fit over the existing parts of the Traveler figure in order to beef him up and rejuvenate the figure. And this is eventually what it turned into. And it's ludicrous is what it is. You've got brand new arms and hip parts with bone color and detail. You can see extra skull there in the shoulder. You can kind of make out some kind of bony faces in the hip guards, which, you know, are armor bits. And then this whole chest configuration. You can actually kind of see like a little molded Faden-shaped face in there, and I hope they paint that up in future releases. And it's molded on the back too, so that can also be reversed and used as a chest. The head really sells it. I love this kind of mutated look with this one part of the red just showing through on the head. Just, you know, like he's like in mid-mutation, or like a zombie that still has like half his flesh hanging on. It is absolutely wicked. And what I like the most about this, very little paint. The eyes are painted, as well as the eyes on the axe. And by the way, rare weapon accessory. And of course the maroon on the head is also painted. But man, that's all the paint. Everything else comes in mold colors. And again, I have to commend Onell on paint matching their parts, because I couldn't tell the difference between these two maroons. I couldn't tell you at first glance which one was paint and which one was actual molded plastic. There's a lot of tricks to this, and he actually did take the time. The armor does work on multiple Onell releases, and he did release a set of clear armor separately for them, and I'm really hoping that this armor comes out in other colors that I can show off and try out on other Travelers. I got so many just like colorless Travelers just have nothing to do. I would really like to armor some of them up and give them some extra personality. So, and I really hope the space armor comes out too. I love the sound of that. But yeah, this is absolutely the star of the wave. This one is, man, I wanted this thing so much, and it doesn't disappoint. It is fantastic, and it's sold out in like minutes. Man, it's so good. But now I thought that was going to be the main event. However, we do have something special. I was given the opportunity to get something a little bit ahead of schedule. And since I technically bought this in February, I'm going to count it for this episode, but it will not actually be released until sometime later. I think they were shooting for March, but there isn't a solid release date down. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I have the next drop of the Weaponeers of Monkaa, which you'll recall is my favorite Glyos line that I collect everything from. So, on the next drop, we have the granite golems. Here we have the two you can see. You'll excuse me, I can't remember which is which. I'll fix it later. One is rock and one is roll. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right because they spell their names like freaking Vikings, and it's awesome. I kind of have to love that. But I really kind of dig this kind of stone gray color. It's actually the same stuff that was used for the original release of Toyfinity's RoboForce figures, the original unpainted, kind of prototypey looking Max Zero, copyright. So it's got a very old school, kind of very old plastic look to it, and it kind of works for that granite color. These guys are just the sampling. The main event, of course, is the DX figure of the drop. And this time, it's Paladar. And about time, man, for as much as Paladar appears in the fiction, they've taken so long to give him some kind of new figure, and I'm thrilled to finally see it. It's really striking. I love the black and gray combination here. It's just, it creates a very bold look on Paladar, who's normally very subdued in his silver and reds. Is an epic figure. Really digging on this look. And the interesting thing about this, if I can dig these up really quick off screen, the extra heads that come with this. Here's the Brutok head. Here's the Imperius head. Are you noticing a pattern here? Here. And here is the Umbrius head. I really like that, with the red and with all the gray and black. But you notice Paladar is the only one with blue eyes. All the others are these very evil-looking reds. I mean, this makes me interested. Like, I really want to see what the story... Like, oh, look, even the golem heads on the fists are red. I really... Brian's working on the story for these guys now, and I'm really eager to find out what the story actually is, because I want to know what is up with those other colors. But that is a really cool figure. I'm really stoked. And, thank you to Spy Monkey for letting me get a little bit of a sneak preview here of these figures. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date for these, so I don't know when you can go and buy them. I will tell you, they're on social media. Spy Monkey has a Facebook, they have a Twitter. I will link you to both. Pretty much the only way to keep track of these is to follow the social media, and you'll know as soon as everyone else does when these things will be available, right down to the time of day. So that is exceptional. Oh, and of course, just to get it all out, yeah, they're doing close combat accessories for that. So you get all your handles and your guns and your switch pins and your blades and your hooks and all those fun little bits that let you do so much. So yeah, this is kind of a standout month. This is a busy month for Glyos, and this didn't even get into like Banamon showing back up with a new wave of tanks and army men. But here's your standouts. Here's your standouts, except he's not coming out till sometime March, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Keep an eye out. Trust me, they're worth it. So, that's Glyos for the month of February. And hopefully budget runs a little bit better, so I'll actually be able to do an episode of this in March. I need to hit eBay. I need to sell things on eBay, not... You know what I mean.